Welcome everyone here to the Gnostic Takeover. This is a special live stream. I've just taken a bit of time to warm up, and this is a very dear live stream to me as we're heading toward an anniversary on the 27th of March. It was the date when I uploaded my first video on this platform. I'm here on YouTube for a reason, because I know that they cannot kick me off any platform. I have the hypothesis, which still stands to be corrected, that they may, the control freaks, not the powers, the control freaks that shouldn't be, they can censor a video from me. However, they can't censor me from that platform, because this is the perception that I anchor, and it is my knowledge that it is my perception that creates my reality. So I'm here to take over YouTube. This is the Gnostic Takeover you're listening to here. We're on the radio waves of the natural internet. Again, big embracement, a big embrace, an acknowledgement of our beautiful Mother Earth, the real intelligence here, where we can learn so many things from. Go out into nature, study the natural dynamics, study the 0-point energy field and the spiral nature of reality, instead of staying stuck in a circular movement of a loop. We transcend the paradigm, and this is what we are doing here at the Gnostic Takeover. So today is a very special day for me. As I said before, I was slightly nervous going into this today after 240 plus videos. Yeah, I was slightly nervous today because this anniversary that I'm heading into, it's the significance of the three. Also, it's the 3rd year anniversary. It's 1919 as I say this. And it's the Trinity, the ultimate power of the Trinity, as deep occult knowledge that we delve into here at the Gnostic Takeover. And what's happening here is a rebirth of the Gnostic Takeover, and I've got many slides prepared for all of you today, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my understanding, and to the best of where I am at in my own process of integrating the truth. I'll share the truth and nothing but the truth with you here. It's quality instead of quantity, and let's unleash the power of the truth into the world around us. This is the most powerful thing that we can ever do against the control system. Speak the truth no matter what. Speak the truth the way you see it, even if you haven't figured everything out yet. Realize that it's a process to come back to ourselves, and all we can do is live the change, live our transformation every single day to the best that we can achieve. This is a very oftentimes difficult experience here on Earth. However, the Gnostic Takeover is meant to be a hub here, meant to be a platform for great people to come together here and to pull through these amazing times of transformation. This is what we have been waiting for. It's here now. I've been on this ride of awakening for 13 years, and there's very powerful energies hitting us right now, and it's up to us to embrace that and to integrate those energies and move forward powerfully. So let me start with the slides today's topic, and this is a fresh start for me here. It's the rebirth of the Gnostic Takeover that starts here today. As I said in the last video, nothing will be as it was. So we can wave bye-bye at everything that we've seen here on the Gnostic Takeover, as things are really kick-starting here now. It's the beginning of spring here also in Austria, and that brings rejuvenating, transformative, and energies of rebirth that we can use. So, who's in this with me? Are you in with me? That's great. Wonderful to have all of you here. Alright, so, the Gnostic Takeover. This is my guidance. I often mention it in the videos. This is how my platform is also called. And it is, the Gnostic Takeover is an idea that I birthed. The name of it came to me after I gave a notice of liability to the man who at times acts, and he is an actor, but the man who at times acts as President of Austria, Alexander van der Bellen, and I gave him a notice of liability on the 23rd of October 2020, and it was at the sort of like beginning of November, together with Errol Kaya. The name just dropped into my consciousness, and I knew this is for me. And for me, it represents my guidance. It's about becoming the man that I wish to be. This is what it stands for me. And it's an idea that is constantly, every single day, challenging me. But through this challenge, I embrace this challenge, and it transforms me. Yes, I at times also sulk when things don't go my way. I am also unhappy at times. However, in the end, everything is always good, and we just have to keep going no matter what. Don't be intimidated by nothing and no one. It's about living life and tapping into our infinite potential. And as you can see here, I have this picture oftentimes in my videos because it's just so beautiful. It's so simple, isn't it? Take risks and conquer your fears. And let me tell you, I have taken many, many risks in walking the path that I am on right now, because I needed to. I needed to do this. Hang on a minute. I'm just having to close a window so the train can't interrupt. Alright. Living and tapping into our infinite potential, and this is all that we have to do. Oh, and it sounds so simple, but it challenges us to the max, and I had to take many risks to be in the position that I am in right now. And this is the all-encompassing message of the Gnostic Takeover, is to make that jump, that we can make the jump and really learn that we can fly, that we're not caged in, that it is a mental prison that we've been programmed into. And when we make the leap of faith, the leap of trust, as I would call it, we'll find out that we can fly. And the Gnostic Takeover in a nutshell is all about being a guiding system, a guidance to tap into our infinite potential. We can do it. Every single one of us can do it. And you see, a question is, a question that I like to ask myself sometimes is life passing me by? Is life passing us by? You see, within the maze of this programmed society that have been set up by social engineers, okay, they know about the occult social dynamics at play, and engineer masses, they engineer societies around us through the implementation of a so-called norm that is not a contract that I've ever signed, the so-called social contract that does not exist. It's based on implied consent. However, these social engineers are very, very clever in the way they manipulate our environment and the people around us. And that goes so far that we can lose ourselves in the maze, and we can lose our perception in the outside world. And that's when you often hear it, people say that, where have these last 20 years gone? They've just passed like nothing. So it's good to sometimes stand still, just breathe, and ask the question, is life passing me by? And by asking deep questions like these, you immerse yourself deeper into the now, the access point of all power. And that's what the Gnostic Takeover stands for too, that life does not just pass us by. And so we do not end up, and this is an idea that I really resonated with when I first heard it from David Icke, the Deathbed Confessions. It's a great way of kicking ourselves into reality and realize we don't have to do this. We do not have to have life passing us by. We are actually in our full power, in our full potential. We are in control of time as well as space also. Time and space are secondary aspects of consciousness, and we are the primary aspect of consciousness that can direct time and space. Time and space are organized by our consciousness. This is the true power that we hold. So we don't want to end up in a place of deathbed confessions, of regret. And the situation is that we sit on our deathbed. Life has just passed us by, and all we were always doing was what other people expected us to do. Oh, this is who Steve is. And we all know who Steve is. He has also, I'm talking from my own personal experience, he's gone through the school machinery just as all of society has gone through. And then he's moved on to university, and suddenly Steve has turned crazy because he started to ask a question or two, starting to talk about weird things. Why? Because I didn't want life to pass me by. And regret kicks in when we do not make the step up to ditch our societal roles. I have many people here in the town I'm in right now. Is actually the town that that I grew up in, that I spent most of my formative years in, as well as my as well as being a youngster. And many people know me here in the town, and many of the people, when I meet them here now, they think that I'm crazy. They absolutely have no idea what I'm on about. They have no idea what I do, but they just heard from other people that I'm crazy, you see, because I went fully public, you see. During the times of the demonstrations, they may have seen me on TV also. So they just think I've gone crazy, but all I've done is exit out of the societal programming, because I didn't want to lie on my deathbed and do my deathbed confessions of regret, and regret that all I ever did was follow what other people wanted me to do. No, I'm here for the big thing. I'm here for the ultimate. I'm here to experience myself truly, and I will not regret my life. I will live my life, even if that means short-term pain and challenging times. It matters not, because this is what we came here to do. You see, in life here on this earth is not easy. You may, listening here, you may resonate with this earth life struggle, having to find the money for the rent and all the bills that we need to pay, and the human being having to be the only creature here on earth that has to pay to be in their own home. The sickness of this system is a struggle. Yes, it is. However, there must be a higher reason for it, a higher purpose of it, and an explanation that goes beyond anything that we've ever heard before. And this is also something that the Gnostic Takeover is trying to put forward, because you see, it again, it's also easy to say take risks and conquer your fears, but this is the higher guidance that can show us the way out of the maze and away from all the struggle, because we are really meant to fly here. It's not just a saying. We're actually here to do it. And I'm telling you, I'm doing it. I'm not holding back anymore at all. And this is where this system wants to keep us. With all the struggle and wanting to forget about the deathbed confessions of regret. Oh, forget about that. It's not so important. So we stay in the maze. So we stay in the struggle and stay within a loop, a reality loop that keeps us trapped in the construct, or what I term the artificial matrix of survival. That's where we get the survival of the fittest, the social Darwinism theory that lies at the heart of this satanic cult. Survival instead of life. Oh, we've got no time for life. It all fits together. There's no time when life is passing us by. There's no time for anything. It's just a rush always. Get to the next job. Get the next job to pay the bills, and we're always in survival mode. And that's why this crisis that we have had now since the beginning of this decade is actually a good thing. It's a good thing. And you may say, what is he talking about? Because this is what we need to end. That's what needs to end. And I've dedicated my life and my life's work, and it's 13 years and counting now, of my own earth life struggles, of survival. And I have focused my attention these last years on how to get out of this loop. And I kid you not, I have so much information coming your way in the new dawn of the Gnostic Takeover. So if you want out, you can out. You will out. Because this crisis that we've gone through since the beginning of this decade, it's meant to end. And quite possibly from a higher perspective, from a higher level of awareness, this crisis with COVID was actually orchestrated from higher levels of intelligence in order to really break through this construct and transcend this construct and live our natural state of being. Come back to ourselves. That's what every crisis is here for. It's an opportunity to grow and to escape the mental prison. It's looping. It's obvious. Many listening here will know. However, the real question here is, how many of us have actually successfully, holistically, successfully exited this construct that keeps us in survival mode and prevents us from living our life to the fullest? How many of us are this man here? Okay, go and follow the shining light of the one who's escaping the loop, the construct. Who of us has really succeeded in doing that? And if someone's listening here who can answer the question, yes, I have successfully exited this construct, then I salute you. Well done. Very well done. I'm still in my own process here. With me, it's that I have all the information of how to exit this construct. However, just recently, I realized another blind spot of my psyche that I was prevented from seeing. That just happened just recently. And I'm going to share it with you, what that is, later on in the video. So that's what we want to get out from, alright? And we can get out from it. This is, again, one of the foundational pillars on which the Gnostic Takeover is founded upon, is to give guidance to exit the construct. This is a Gnostic image from 1888. However, it dates back even further. Gnosticism and Gnostics are people throughout history that just know, and they trust their knowing. They immerse themselves into the inner journey, into a process, a step-by-step process. Okay, you don't have to change everything in one go. This is inorganic. This is an ideological belief system of perfection. That's transhumanism. That's the enemy's ideology. That's not the natural organic way. The plant also doesn't just transform itself all in one go from a seed into a plant or from a seed into a tree. That's not the organic way. That's not the natural way. The natural way is a guidance that works one step at a time. That's all we have to do. The best thing that we can do for a better world is to wake up every single day and realize this is the first day of my life. That's the motto here at the Gnostic Takeover. This is the first day of my life. I can make it so. I can tune my perception to it. And all I can really do for a better world out there is to make use of every single day of my life and trying to be the best version of myself in every single day. And there may be days where we don't succeed. There may be days where we have setbacks, but it matters not. We continue anyway because we are winners here at the Gnostic Takeover. We are winners, and we know the winner takes it all and the loser has to fall. And the loser who falls are the agents of the control system, of the lie, the construct. So this is a good time to do some reflection, to ask ourselves the question, why? Okay, because there's not just a maze that is happening around us of society and societal pressure, as many of us listening here will know about. Oh, you need to get a job, or you need to have a girlfriend, you need to build a house, you need this, you need to that, and otherwise you're not successful. There's also a maze, okay, the same basic dynamics of societal pressures that are instigated by the social engineers. There's a very similar dynamics happening when we start to wake up. There's also a maze. Oftentimes we're not aware of that, but this is the reason why I'm a pioneer of this information, of what I call the trap of the alternative media arena. There's also a maze, and sometimes we can't see the forest from all the trees. We don't have the overview. We don't see how we're being played. And that's why here at the Gnostic Takeover we ask the question, why? Why did you even start on this journey? Can you remember when that was and why that was? Why did you start on this journey? Because so much is talked about the control system, about the agenda that they're implementing. But can we come back to ourselves and realize, why did we even start? Why were we drawn to this new information, to a new way of perceiving the world in the first place? Was it to just inform ourselves what's happening in the world? Or did it have a deeper meaning? Asking the question, why did I start on this journey? What was the deeper meaning? And I'm sharing with you my personal experience, that for me, that was waking up from the dream. When I ask myself the question, why did I start on this journey, is once I realized that I was living in a dream world, that reality is not fixed. Once I realized that the reality that I was experiencing outside of myself, the outside world, was actually a projection from my inside. So therefore the inside world is primary and creates the outside world. The one is dependent on the other, which is the reason why as ancient alchemists talk about, and a true foundation of spirituality is that the only way is the inner way. The only way out is through. And we need to go the inner path. So why did I start on this journey? I really wanted to wake up from this dream. So when I've been dreaming, and this dream was more a nightmare, when I'm honest to myself, in this earth life struggle where societal pressure told me that I needed to get my university degree, and if I don't finish university, then I will have nothing and I will end up a failure. And it's just how it is, that people need to earn money in order to pay their bills and pay their rent, and if you want a house, you need to take a loan from the bank. And I was like, what is all of this? How can I exit the construct when I know it's a prison? I want out of here. That's what I thought to myself. So then I came to the conclusion there was no other way for me than to wake up from this dream. What is it really all about? What is my life really all about? And keep asking that question, and not settle for the half truths that are presented. Always keep going, always keep an open mind. And that's another foundation here at the Gnostic Takeover. We keep going in, and we keep going deeper into knowing ourselves. And we enter the magical place, and we enter magic. However, the thing is that once we realize that we're here to wake up from the dream, we're here to understand why did we come here in the first place. This is a nightmare. It is a nightmare, and these are the real problems that we face in the world. Okay? That we're not living according to our true potential. We're not living our true potential. No one's teaching us how to tap into our infinite potential. Okay, when we have all this power, how do we tap into it? It's no good just talking about, oh, the solution is the heart, as David Icke oftentimes does. Oh, you just have to go into the heart. Well, how do we do it? That's the real question to ask. And silence after that. We're not living our full potential. Life is passing us by, and we stand a chance of sitting on our deathbed, having to confess and having to face all the regret of our life, and come back again to really find out what it is all about. Well, we can do it now. I say, and I stand here, that I am in the process of really powerfully waking up from the dream. I'm not there yet. This is a process. Again, I have breakthroughs of awakening where I sit down and I write 2 pages of powerful insights, and then a few days later I might find myself in the maze again. This is the journey that I've been on. However, we have to realize that when we're waking up from the dream, that this is the ultimate. We're talking about enlightenment here. We're talking about sovereignty. That every single one of us here listening, we are at our core. We have something inside of us that this control system cannot access. It cannot, no matter how much they try to impose their artificial intelligence and the world of technocracy, they cannot access our deepest inner core, and that is the reason why we have to reach that inner core and connect with our inner core. That's what we do here. because that's where we are all powerful. That's how we reclaim the earth. We take back the earth. We take back everything from these psychopaths and these megalomaniacs who've created a nightmare world that's meant to be a paradise. I can see it. I'm a visionary and I can do it. We have to realize that this is the penultimate. This is the quintessence. This is the answer to the question, why did I start on this journey in the first place? Not to just inform myself about the World Economic Forum. No, to wake up from the dream. And the thing is, and I will keep going with my investigation of exposing the workings of controlled opposition, is very real. However, nothing can stop the truth coming out. And the thing is that the enemies of life, they are systematically underestimated, and the enemy never sleeps. They're systematically underestimated. Let me tell you, this is what I've come to find out, especially with my work that I've been doing with the plant medicine, that shows you exactly how the manipulation works on a multi-dimensional level in places where you would never expect the manipulation to take place, when it's also in the alternative media arena. And it needs to be pointed out in order to get our focus back on why and what we are here to do, to really have a full-blown awakening. Because as it says here, the number one priority, okay? So let's go back. You wake up, you want to wake up from the dream, okay? I'm going for it. I know that I create reality. I know about the matrix. I know about this control system. I can see how the social engineers are manipulating the masses. I can see it. So how do I get out of it? I want to wake up from the dream. And we have to realize that then the number one priority of the enemies of life is not that they bring us back to the mainstream media and they want to stop us from hearing alternative voices. They want us to listen to alternative voices. They control many of the alternative voices. They do it consciously or unconsciously. They serve the control system, but not sharing with you the entire truth, as is my intention of doing here at the Gnostic Takeover. The number one priority for the enemies of life is, as soon as you want to wake up from the dream, they hijack your perception away from full-blown awakening from the dream. It's as simple as that, and this is a major point here of this presentation, which is the reason why I'll make it again. Write this down. It's very important if you feel so. So you want to wake up from the dream. This is what it is really all about. You wake up from the dream, and the number one priority of the enemies of life, of the archons, of the vampire empire, as I like to call them, is to straight away hijack your perception away from full-blown awakening, because you may just become a danger to the entire control system. And what many of us that have embarked on questioning the world, that have looked into dynamics, into the dynamics of the engineering of history, the manipulation, the funding of both world wars, all the wars that are instigated by the same hidden controllers in the background. Those of us who look deeply into the world and can see one conspiracy after the other, we do not realize that many of us have been lost along the way. This is the dark side, and it needs to be exposed. This is the dark side of the alternative media arena that I continue to keep pointing out. It's explained by Plato's allegory of the cave. We do not realize that many souls, many of our family of mankind have been lost along the way. Their perception was hijacked by information that was true information, however, not containing the truth. Which means, and this is what I try to do here at the Gnostic Takeover, is to give you the entire truth that I've come to find out, so that we find our way out of this maze, so that we find our way out of this nightmare, that we do not have to suffer anymore, and we can move powerfully forward. This is what I'm here to do, and I'm a pioneer in what I do, and there's many risks that I take. There's many people that I lose along the way, many subscribers that desubscribe because I make critical analysis of sort of this freedom movement, okay, the alternative media arena, call it whatever you want, the truth movement. I talk the truth here on this channel to the best of my understanding, to the best of my knowledge, and I am within this fabric, and that's why I point out the inconsistencies and also the dark sides to it that many may not be aware of. You see, many are lost along the way, and they are lost and not found anymore. They don't find answers. They do not find the information that will get them out of the prison and make them exit the construct. They do not find this information. And it's a sad thing. However, it just needs to be pointed out that many are lost along the way and are lost and not found anymore. They go back into the machinery, and I personally know people myself that have looked into things and they've gone back into the machinery because they do not find a way out, and they stay a battery for this control system. They're lost and not found in the rabbit hole of illusions. And that's a major aspect, a foundational aspect to point out about the entertainment trap that is happening all around us. Okay? There is a deeper play happening, and the enemy, again, is systematically underestimated. And you see, the way the enemies of life can continue with their agenda is by us not coming to a full realization of what the enemies of life really are and what their true modus operandi really is. As I said in the last video, one of the last videos, about Hal, what the Gnostics talked about and described as Hal, they can induce a virtual reality experience that is an illusion. And I went into this in the last video, so I won't repeat it, about COVID, about climate lockdowns they're talking about now. The crisis, a crash will come and it has to happen. These are all things, okay, that I here at the Gnostic Takeover do not see happening. I do not see a major crisis happening here on Earth anytime soon. What I see is an entertainment trap within the alternative media arena that locks people into drama through storytelling and does not give you the full picture of the truth, because either one, they don't know about it, or two, they misinform people. And there's a big play happening here, and once we realize that, we can realize that they're keeping us trapped in the shadow world through the entertainment trap. You see, because the entertainment trap is that truth is not here to entertain us. Truth is meant to be lived. We're not just here to find out what's happening in the world. We're here to make a difference in this world, to be the shining light of mankind that truly makes all the difference, and get out of the trappings of the shadow world. That's what we're here to do. So this leads us to the question, what is awakening? When we do not want to stay in the entertainment trap, okay, this goes back to the question why we even started on this journey. Let's ask the simple question again. What is awakening? This is what we want to do. This is what I want to do. Awakening is transcend, is to find out who I truly am, to tap into my infinite potential, infinite intelligence, where I can be anyone I want to be, and I create my life through my imagination. So I do not have the earth-life struggle anymore, and life is not passing me by anymore. Oh, and what a relief to finally exit this construct of survival. What a relief that would be. Yeah, this comes with true spiritual awakening, which lies at the heart of the Gnostic Takeover. That hence the title of this video. The Gnostic Takeover is spiritual awakening, and it is the breaking bad of spiritual awakening. What is awakening? And that's where I start with my own story of transformation. And this has everything to do with the series that I like to sometimes share also on the Telegram channel. Clips of Breaking Bad. It's a great series to watch. It absolutely revolutionized the way series are done. It's a milestone in that regard. And that is also a story of transformation, about which I'll go into later. And you see, I've really gone through this journey, and it's been quite amazing up to this point. So many twists and turns. You see, I read many of David Icke's books. They're actually just behind me here. And I looked up to him. He was an idol for me. I also visited 3 of his live shows where he gives 10-hour presentations, and I mean, full respect for that. And his work really helped me along the way. However, now I'm one of his biggest critics of his work, because through my own process of integrating my own shadow, by integrating my shadow, I was able to shine more of my light, and to shine light on even deeper levels of manipulation of this control system, which is why I say that the enemy is absolutely underestimated, and in order to really be the danger for this control system, because you are the danger. I am the danger. There's a reason they want to set up a control system in the first place. They don't just do this to beings that are not powerful. They do this to beings who have the power, which is the reason why they want to control us. And you see, I never found myself in the outside world. When someone asked me the question, what do you want to do with your life? Who do you want to be? Or when you're on a party, what do you do for a living? I had a reasonable question when I told them that I was studying mathematics and history at the University of Vienna. I was like, yeah, I'm a student, I study this and that. However, and that was also the reason why I didn't go to too many parties anymore. Once I fully embarked and fully dedicated my life to spiritual awakening and to busting the bubble of the dream and to fully wake up from the dream in 2017, I dropped all my studies. And what was I going to say at these parties when people ask me, what do you do for a living? Well, actually, I'm 27, 28, 29 years old, and I'm still here finding out what I'm here to do. It was only when I was 30 years old that I created the Gnostic Takeover. And before that, and even when I founded the Gnostic Takeover, I had no idea. I had no idea what I was here to do. Again, you don't have to have the full picture. You just have to know that it's a process. And when you keep going along your path, everything will be revealed to you. So one of the ways that I go by now is, instead of having to control everything myself and put myself under pressure that I have to fulfill something, I let the dream reveal itself to me. I let things come to me. And all I do every day is just give my personal best every single day, because then I am the best. The best ever. This is the best information you can have on awakening. That's what I say here. I'm the best because I give my best every single day. But I'm not perfect. I'm a natural being talking to you here on the airwaves of natural intelligence. So let's embark a little bit on my journey of transformation. Okay, this is me here. Man, how old must I have been here? Okay, I was 20, must have been 21 at the time. 21 years. Or was I? Yeah, that's about right. 21, 22. And as you can see, I'm blinded by the light here. A bit. Blinded by the light. I was already reading David Icke and getting into his information. And this is a place I was often. It's called the Donauinsel in Vienna. I actually also later, just 3 years ago, I lived in an apartment there also in Vienna at the Donauinsel. And I had no clue. As you watch this picture here, at the time, that was at the end of summer and my student life was about to begin again. And I had no idea what I should do with my life. And that's why I suffered from depressions also. I was in deep depression for most of my student's life. It was always half of the year I was in depression, half of the year when the springtime would come, I would experience a rebirthing. this has been a constant, which has made me realize that this life we're living here is a cycle. It's a cycle, it's a yearly cycle. And I'll talk about this also later in the video. And little did I know that I just needed to keep going. And I was always so afraid of not if I didn't manage my studies, if I didn't manage to complete them, I was always so worried what would happen to me then. Where am I going to end up? And little did I know, what I know now is you're on your path anyway, mate. Just keep going and recognize the symbols. This is also something that we want to teach here at the Gnostic Takeover, that people learn the language of life again. Learn the language of life. I'm just making a note here, because then we don't have to worry, we don't have to fear, because everything will be presented to us in our life. This is a dream we're living here, okay? And we can manage our own dream, and it will give us all the solutions that we need to make our life successful. And that's also me. I was 22 here, okay? This is the revolutionary me. Yeah, when I was fed up with everything and I was like, everything sucks. And I think that was actually a Monsanto demonstration here in Vienna. The revolutionary me, another demonstration. And you can see here by the sign that I'm holding, it's very also symbolic. Wake up now! I shout out, probably also to the audience here, you have to wake up now. And little did I know that the only one who needed to wake up and wake up from this dream was, guess who? Yeah, you're right, it's me. It's me that had to wake up. And at the time, you see, this was the beginning of my awakening process. I found out about the wrongs in the world and what's going wrong, and the multinational corporations that are controlled by the financier banks in the hidden background, and the satanic pedophile network that runs the banking system. I was aware of that at the time, and I was thinking that going to these demonstrations I was making a difference, but in actual fact I had no idea about what true awakening was all about. And it was another demonstration because of compensation. I was compensating, I was tricking myself, I was telling myself a lie that, oh, I'm trying the best I can to make the world a better place. You see, I was at the Monsanto demonstration and I'm showing these criminals that I'm not standing for it, and people have to join us and we have to become more, and more people are waking up. All of this, I've went through that experience. But little did I know at the time that I was doing all of this to compensate for the shock of finding out how the world truly runs. I was in a state of shock during my initial awakening. Okay, it's a shock to find out that the world is run by criminals, and there's actually a network of pedophilia and Satanism going on. I mean, how am I going to challenge them? Are they going to kill me if I challenge them? You know, all sorts of fears come up. And that's where we also find ourselves in learned helplessness also. Because how do you want to find a way out here? These people are very dangerous. The Satanists, they're dangerous. They might sacrifice you next. But the answers were coming. The answers were coming. And I'll stop it right here for all the BitChute viewers. Okay, this is part 1. Thank you for joining me, and just go ahead and watch part 2. Alright, see you there. Thank you.